What's up everyone, it's Ben from the Vinyl Jukebox, and in this video we're going to look at 10 albums that turned 50 this year in 2025. Before we get started, please be sure to leave a like and a comment below this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. So over the past few days with the new year and all, I've been thinking about albums that came out 50 years ago in 1975. And I was surprised to realize how many great classic legendary rock albums came out in 1975. So I'm gonna show 10 of them today. There may be a sequel coming, so definitely stay tuned for that. And this is not a ranking video, so I'm listing them in no particular order here. So I'm gonna start things off with Physical Graffiti from Led Zeppelin. This was released in February of 1975. And it's the band's 6th studio album, their only double album, and this is just a fantastic album. Some people say that it is Led Zeppelin's best studio album. It's not my favorite of their studio albums. My favorite is probably a tie between Led Zeppelin 2 or Houses of the Holy, but this one is great. I mean, this one has classic song after classic song, just running through some of them here. We have Custard Pie, In My Time of Dying, which is one of my favorite Led Zeppelin songs of all time. Houses of the Holy, Trampled Underfoot, Kashmir. I mean, these classic rock staples on this album. We have my favorite on the album, 10 Years Gone. I think it's just an incredibly epic song. And I just love the album artwork. This was taken of a couple of apartment buildings in New York City, and it's got the die cut Physical Graffiti written in there. This is an original press. Awesome stuff on the Swan Song label. So really cool from Led Zeppelin. Again, one of the biggest albums, I have to say, from 1975. All right, next up, coming in hard and heavy here, we have Nazareth's Hair of the Dog. This is just an intense album. This is their 6th studio album as well, released in April of 1975. And this one is probably their most well-known album. I mean, it has their classic hits like Love Hurts, Hair of the Dog, Now You're Messing with the Son of a Bitch. Love that song. Miss Misery is just a crazy heavy track. I love Nazareth. I feel like they're very underrated. I think that this album is really their one album wonder for sure. But they were extremely influential, especially with artists such as Guns N' Roses. I mean, Axl Rose cites them as one of his biggest influences, and you can really hear it in the vocals on this album. I mean, it just straight up sounds like Axl Rose. So really cool stuff. Nazareth, Hair of the Dog. All right, next up, and we're changing up the genres a little bit. I know that I'm really mainly focusing on rock here, but we're gonna move into a little bit of outlaw country here with Willie Nelson's Red-Headed Stranger. This one was released in May of 1975. And to be honest, I'm not really a big country guy. I'm not really a big Willie Nelson guy, but this album I can definitely vibe to. This is a great concept album from Willie Nelson. We have classic songs like Time of the Preacher. We have Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain, Red-Headed Stranger. I mean, this is one of those albums that you could put on a summer night. You know, if you're outside barbecuing or outside around a campfire. I mean, it just has that vibe to it. I think this is a great album from Willie Nelson. My favorite from Willie Nelson, and many others too. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive version of that. It's got like a blood splatter. That's what they call blood clear splatter. So cool stuff. And yep, Willie Nelson's Red-Headed Stranger. All right, going back to the rock side of things. Next up, Rock and Roll from John Lennon. This was also released in February of 1975, and this was his 5th and final studio album. And I think this is a really fun album. It was produced by Phil Spector, and it's an album full of 50s and 60s rock and roll covers. I mean, you have songs on this album like Stand By Me, you have Ain't That a Shame, Do You Want to Dance, Slippin' and Slidin', Peggy Sue. Just a lot of fun songs on this album. You know, some people hate on this album. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it sounds great, and you know, any John Lennon is good John Lennon in my opinion. So, also released in 1975, John Lennon's Rock and Roll. All right, now the only live album on my list, and you guessed it, It's Kiss Alive. This was released in September of 1975, and it's Kiss's 4th album overall and their first live album. And this album pretty much saved the band. I mean, this defines the band's sound, always known as a live band over a studio band. And although this album is not completely live, I've heard that a lot of it was done in the studio. Some people have said everything except for the drums were done in the studio. It doesn't really matter though. This album really captures that live sound of Kiss and really shows that energy that the band would show as a live band and didn't really come out through their first 3 studio albums. I mean, we have classics on here like Do Strutter, Hotter Than Hell, Firehouse. We have Black Diamond, one of my favorites. The quintessential version of Rock and Roll All Night, the one that all the radio stations play, the one that everyone knows. Nobody really listens to the studio version of that. But we have all those great songs on this album, and to be honest, I always choose these versions of these classic Kiss songs over the studio versions. I'll listen to this any day of the week over those because this just captures that energy and this just sounds so much better in my opinion. So Kiss Alive. All right, next up, and probably my favorite album from this artist. This is Rod Stewart's Atlantic Crossing. This was Rod Stewart's 6th studio album and released in August of 1975. And this album brought about the departure of Ronnie Wood from Rod Stewart's recording band. Rod Stewart had teamed up with Ronnie Wood ever since even the Jeff Beck group. Ron Wood played bass on those albums, and obviously in the Faces they were together. Ronnie Wood had played on his first few studio albums, but this one saw Rod really taking a step in a different direction away from Ronnie Wood and really departed from that Faces-like sound. I still think that this album captures that 70s rock and roll sound that Rod Stewart had before he got very poppy with his sound. And to be honest, I really love this album. I mean, it's got great songs on it. What I love about how it's labeled, actually, the label here, I'm not sure if you could see it on camera, it's labeled fast side and the other side is labeled slow side. And it really does show that because these are the upbeat songs on this side and the other side is more of the ballads. We have 3-Time Loser, All Right for an Hour, All in the Name of Rock and Roll. Just awesome songs on this album. So Rod Stewart's Atlantic Crossing, another great one from 1975. So probably one of the biggest albums from 1975, and one of the biggest albums that this band ever created. We have Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here. This came out in September of 1975 as well, and it was Pink Floyd's 9th studio album. And this one probably is my favorite album from Pink Floyd. I mean, it's got classics on it like Shine On You Crazy Diamond, Wish You Were Here, Welcome to the Machine. It's just incredible. We have this amazing album artwork. We have this amazing album artwork from the Hypnosis studio, and just really defines the sound of this band. I never get tired of this album. I could put it on at any time, and sometimes with the more progressive psychedelic stuff I get a little tired of it. Not this album for some reason. I could play this anytime, never get tired of it. So Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here, another great one from 1975. All right, next up, and we're coming towards the end here, we got 3 left. Going back to the hard rock side of things, next up we have Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, featuring a vocalist that you might know. His name was Ronnie James Dio. And this came out in September of 1975 as well. This was Richie Blackmore's Rainbow's debut studio album. And this is a killer album. I mean, this features songs like Man on the Silver Mountain, Catch the Rainbow. I mean, just defining songs for this band. Richie Blackmore, obviously, right out of leaving Deep Purple, just came out with a killer band with some awesome songs, and this album just rocks. It's incredible. So Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, there we go. All right, next up, speaking of Deep Purple, that same year they released this amazing album here Come Taste the Band. And to be honest, this is probably my favorite David Coverdale, Glenn Hughes era Deep Purple album, featuring Tommy Bolin on guitar. This is just an awesome killer album. Released in November of 1975. It's their 10th studio album. Wow, they had so many albums before this. It's crazy, all the different lineups and everything. But just killer album, featuring Coming Home, Lady Luck, which was one of my favorite Deep Purple songs ever, I Need Love, Dealer. Just a great album. David Coverdale sounds great on this one. Glenn Hughes with some vocals there too, and Tommy Bolin really holds his own on guitar. I think he brought an amazing sound to the band. I wish he could have done a little more with Deep Purple, but definitely a great album to keep coming back to. So Deep Purple's Come Taste the Band. And finally, one of probably the biggest albums here, we have Aerosmith's Toys in the Attic. This one came out in April of 1975. It's Aerosmith's third studio album and probably their most popular album of their 1970s era. Definitely the one that contains the most hits. We have Walk This Way on this album. We have Sweet Emotion. We have, Toys in the Attic, Uncle Salty, just songs that would, define this band and define that 70s sound. I know in the 80s they totally changed things up and they had hits in their own right in the 80s, but this definitely defined their sound for the 70s for sure, and includes classics that are played over and over to this day. So Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic, one of my favorite Aerosmith albums for sure, and just a stone cold classic from 1975. All right, everybody, there you have it. Those are 10 albums that turn 50 years old in 2025. And let me know in the comments below, what do you think of these albums? And what other albums came out in 1975 that will turn 50 this year? Maybe I'll even feature them in my next video. Let me know in the comments below. All right, everybody, again, please be sure to leave a like and a comment below this video, subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, share the video, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time.